Golf's a tough game. It can be made even more difficult if you're not using right-handed arm correctly in the golf swing. Left hand and left arm if you're a lefty. Placement is critical at the start, and then understanding how the arm should be used and what its role is going to make the difference between you hitting great shots and not so great shots. So let's have a look today and see how that should all work for you. It's really common that players ask about the right hand and right arm and the role that they play. It does make a big difference giving us control of the club face, and it also giving us control of the swing path as it moves back and through. Now, golf swing's a lever system, so the right arm's part of that system and it needs to operate correctly. The first place to start is how we set the arm at address. So many players set the arm incorrectly, and a lot of that can stem from an incorrect right hand grip. So let's sort of work backwards and have a look and see how the arm should be set at address, and then how the right hand should sit on the grip to ensure that you can place the right arm correctly. So when I set myself up from front on here, if we look at my elbows, both left and right, they're sort of pointed to my hips. So my left elbow is pointed to my left hip, right elbow is pointed to my right hip. Now, so many players, when they set themselves up, will set themselves up in one of two extremes. Either the elbow's pointed out, so my left elbow is sort of pointed down the fairway and the right elbow is pointed the other way, or they try and keep the arms locked and keep the elbows in which case they stay really, really close together. Either of those is going to be big trouble for your golf swing and your shots. So what we need to do is set the arms correctly, and today we're looking at the right arm. Now, if I rotate both elbows out, or both palms out, then my elbows point toward my hips. Now from here, again, we'll just focus on the right. My right elbow is pointed toward my hip. It's not tucked in, and you can see from down the line there that I'm not pulling it in here. My arm's just hanging with a slight bend in the elbow here, and my elbow's pointed toward my hip. Now from here, I want to rotate my hand so that my wrist is vertical. Now, what do I mean by that? If I hold my hand here, the palm of my hand's facing toward the target, the blade of my hand is running straight up and down, and so is my wrist. My wrist is running straight up and down, so it's vertical. That would be horizontal, this is vertical. So if I go back to where I was before, elbows pointed to the hip, I'm rotating my hand so that now that my wrist is vertical. Now from there, when I take my grip, I want my right wrist to be vertical when I'm holding the club. Now, if, like a lot of players, you hold the club too much in the base of the fingers, like this, and close the hand, then that wrist is closer to horizontal than it is to vertical. So I need to hold the club very, very much in the fingers of the right hand. Once I've got that right hand placed correctly, then it's going to be so much easier to get the right arm and right elbow placed correctly as well. Now the other thing, if we go back a little bit higher and we look at, say, the shoulder, when I set myself up, my shoulders are not rounded, my shoulders sort of sitting back and quite relaxed. So from side on, now I've got the shoulder back and relaxed, the elbow pointing towards the hip, and my right arm is bent. Now during the swing, if we have a look at what the role of the arm is, if I take my club away, from here in the backswing, all my elbow is going to do is it's going to bend up. Now my arm will move, my upper arm will also move away. So I'm a couple of things here. If I hold the club from address, this is the backswing movement of the right arm. It's going to move up away from me, and my wrist is going to rotate just a little bit. That's it. That's the only movement I'm creating. A bit of a lift with the upper arm. Elbow will fold more to about roughly 90 degrees, and the wrist is rotated a little bit. Now from here, I'm not going to change the form of my arm and my shoulders, my chest, but all I'm going to do is rotate my body. So there's no form change through here. And if I put my left hand on, we're in a good position. So again, getting the sensation of that right arm, it's going to lift a little bit and move this way, and then my body rotates is perfect. So if I put both hands on and do exactly the same motion, so I'm lifting my arms, my upper arms are coming away from my body a little bit, my elbows are folding, so my left elbow is folded, my right elbow is folded around about 90 degrees. And you can see that the shaft, I've just allowed a little bit of rotation to about here, and then my body's through here. Now, because I rotate my body, when I make a normal swing, it looks very different to that, but that's really all I'm doing. The downswing motion is almost the reverse of that. When I say almost reverse, in relation to my body, my right arm's not coming back to exactly where it was at the start of the swing. If I work backwards from impact, so when I'm playing my shot, my body's rotated and my elbow's sort of still pointed toward my hip here. And then if I go back to squaring my body up, this is where my body is, or where my arms are at impact in relation, except my body's not turned. Okay, so what are we doing here? So club swings back, and then from here, because my arms have lifted in the backswing, they just need to come down. So my right arm's moving up and rotating a little bit, and then it just comes down again. And my wrist rotates back to square. So really quite a simple motion. Looks a lot more complicated than that. And most golfers do make it more complicated. So from here, elbows pointed toward my hip, start my backswing, elbows still pointed toward my hip. As I move away to the top of the swing through what we did before, you can see my elbow's no longer pointed toward my hip, but it's not that far away from pointing to it. And again, it's not tucked in. And then from here, as I move back down, my arms are moving back down here as I'm moving forward. The elbow's sort of coming back to pointing toward the hip. And then as I move through, the elbow stays pointing to the hip as I go through. After impact, with the rotation of the club face, that will all change a little bit. So let's play a shot and have a look at that movement. I'll do it this way. I'm going to lift the club up, rotate, and then hit my shot. That's a really good drill to start to get the sensation of what we should be doing during the swing with that right arm. So really simplifying the motion, so I'm not moving it around too much. This time I'll play the shot, but I'm not going to do the drill, and we just see the same arm movement. It's a bit easier to hit than doing the drill, but the drill's helpful for giving you the feeling of what that arm is actually doing. So essentially it's moving up and down, and there's a little bit of rotation there with that arm. That's basically it. I add my body rotation to it, and that's all I'm doing. So first of all, when you're setting yourself up, go through what I said to start with, get the feeling of how that arm needs to sit at address. Make sure you're holding the club in the fingers of the right hand, and then just practice lifting the arm, rotate the body, and swing the club down and through. You'll find that when you do have the right arm working in it and it's doing a lot less work than what you actually think it needs to do, you'll have a lot more success with your ball striking. If you like this video, click like and subscribe, and also in the description below you'll see a link where you can download 4 videos where I talk about the key elements of impact. So how do you create centered strike, good path, good club face alignment, and how do you hit the ground correctly?